Hello, my friends, and welcome to another devotional connection. I was blessed today to have a chance to hang out with an old friend. And just like old times, it wasn't long before we started sharing things we learned in Bible from our reading, or in the Bible from our reading. One of the passages of scripture that we both loved was the story of Jephthah of Gilead in Judges 11. The Bible, right in verse 1, tells you that Jephthah was a great warrior. Before the writer goes into his story, where he came from, what he did or didn't do, it tells you who he was, a great warrior. That becomes the backdrop that sets up the rest of the chapter. Only then do you find out that he was the illegitimate son of a prostitute whose own half-siblings ran him out of town. Apparently, his father didn't step in to stop it either. Only then do you find out that he wound up in another land, leading a group of rebels just like him. And as the story continues, you find out that his reputation as a great warrior must have been known, because as soon as the Ammonite army came against the people of Israel, they immediately went to Jephthah to lead them into battle. What we find is that this leader of rebels was somehow still a servant of God, having learned the history of his people under God, and was able to articulate it to the Ammonite king. He even challenged the king to let God decide who was right and who was wrong. This illegitimately born leader of rebels must have known of God, because when he prays and makes a deal with God to help his people, not only does God respond, but Jephthah holds up his end of the bargain, as does his daughter, who unknowingly wound up being part of the deal. This illegitimately born son, who was ran out of town by his family's land, ran out of his family's land by his own brother, was the leader of a bunch of rebels, still managed to serve God and teach his only daughter to obey. Oh, and by the way, remember, he was a great warrior. He defeated the Ammonites and became a judge of Israel. There are so many things that I love about this chapter, but today I will leave you with this. It doesn't matter where you come from, who you came from, what you've done, or where you live. Once you choose to serve God, He makes all things new. You aren't defined by anything but Him anymore. Not your past, not your present, not your situation. All He asks is for us to follow Him, and He will show us the greatness that is our destiny. Talk to you again soon.